Welcome, everyone. The City of Stamford is excited to announce our park strategic plan. We're fortunate to have over 56 parks in our city. My goal is to ensure every resident has access to a quality park within a 10-minute walk of where they live. The purpose of this strategic plan is to manage and invest in the sustainability of our parks, beaches, and trails. Strategic planning is necessary to set realistic goals, create action items, and ensure that those items are completed. By prioritizing the operation and development of our parks, we build a roadmap for making Stamford a more resilient and sustainable community. The strategic plan is led by Local Office Landscape and Urban Design, supported by James Lima Planning and Development and the Trust for Public Land.
Hi, this is Walter Rodriguez Meyer from Local Office. Local is a group of designers, researchers, and builders. Our approach to landscape design and planning emerges from a deep analysis of how contemporary life, our cities, and natural landscapes are constantly evolving. We see the community as experts of their neighborhoods, and our approach is community as brain trust. We're also joined by James Lima Planning and Development, who embraces the economics of placemaking and puts forth transformative initiatives to create more vibrant, equitable, and resilient places for all. Trust for Public Land works with cities across the country, and Trust for Public Land has stepped up as a collaborator with the city to create and protect nature-rich places while focusing on health, equity, climate, and community for the city of Stamford. A local nonprofit, Mill River Park Collaborative, is also working with the Trust for Public Land and is a 501c3 nonprofit responsible for growing and maintaining Stamford's Central Park. I'll pass the mic to Tricia from here.
Hi all, my name is Tricia Martin. I'm the Managing Principal of Local Office, Landscape and Urban Design. We are thrilled to be here and to be kicking off our community engagement process with you all. I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of a working vision that we have for our strategic plan, and also talk through a little bit of what we're starting to hear and learn about the city of Stamford. There are parts of Stamford that are growing rapidly, and as we know that as our communities grow, we want to make sure that we're also supporting a great quality of life. And so this is a very timely initiative to look at the strategic plan for the parks and open space of Stamford. And as we all know, during COVID, what we learned is how important our outdoor spaces are for our physical and mental well-being. So we're very excited to be kicking this off with you all. Our vision right now is something that we've worked with the city on, and it is a working vision statement. We hope that by engaging with you all, that this is a statement that continues to evolve. Right now, the vision is to create a vibrant, resilient, and equitable public open space network that can be enjoyed by all for generations to come. We've been working with the city on developing goals for this project, what we call the drivers. Our first one is to empower our communities. That's what we're hoping to get from you for this next process, this next few weeks, of where we get your voices. It's really important that the strategic plan represents what the community wants. We're also interested in green connectivity. We want to make sure that you have adequate parks and open spaces, but that you have safe green ways of moving through your city as well. We also know how important green connectivity is for habitat, and we want to think about how we enhance spaces for all species. We're also very much interested in hearing from you all what you think is working. We want to enhance the assets of Stamford. So having spent a little bit of time in Stamford, I have family that's nearby, a few of us have family nearby, as well as spending some time on Earth Day, we definitely saw some things that were working really well. So we want to enhance those assets. But we also want to grow. We want to give you more parks. We want to give you more green space. So we need to hear from you what it is you all want for your parks. We've been working with the city on doing some online research as well to learn more about Stamford. And it's very exciting to see how many different kinds of spaces and land use and programs you have, from marinas to bucolic natural spaces, to a thriving downtown center. These are all wonderful assets. You also have many parks. As the mayor mentioned, you have over 50 parks in Stamford. This is impressive. You have ball fields, you have kayak launches, and you have golf courses, and you have natural places to walk around. I'm sure all of you have ideas about things that you'd like to see more of, and that's what we need to hear from you. You have over 1,000 acres of open space land, of which the majority is in public parks and recreation, which is wonderful. And we also see you don't have a lot of community gardens. So through this process, we want to learn more from you, whether this is the right breakdown or whether you want to see different types of spaces in your city. And we've been cataloging the parks. We're working with the Trust for Public Land on deep analysis of each of them. And we started to catalog them and organize them into these different categories. I'm now going to turn the mic over to Chris Clementis, who's from our office, who will talk a little bit about what we're beginning to map and learning more about Stamford.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris from local office. So the open spaces that Tricia just mentioned, all of these have been mapped out, and the typologies include all spaces that are available and accessible to the public. This helps us better understand the scale of all of these and where there's a higher concentration of these open spaces. Now, as we look at them overlaid onto the city fabric and its neighborhoods, we can get a better sense of the city itself, how it's structured, and how the density varies as we move from north to south. And we want to understand where all of you live, where the population of the city is, but also where these populations are changing. So it seems that several neighborhoods near the waterfront are experiencing some population growth, and northern Stamford communities are experiencing slight decreasing. Now, in our analysis, we're beginning to review the city's opportunities and challenges and what that means, and this will help us identify priority areas as we move further into our analysis for all the park renovations, new park projects, and other potential initiatives.
Thanks, Chris. So in addition to doing some tabletop analysis of understanding some of the data of the city of Stamford, we've also been engaging with the Parks Department, the city of Stamford, and other agencies on what we've been calling city conversations to better learn from them what they see as some of the needs and challenges within the open space and park space network of Stamford. And so what we've been learning is that, like many cities, there are some urban stressors, for example, overcrowding, for example, in Cove Island Park. There are some crime issues in some of the parks as well, including Jackie Robinson Park or Leon Park. And then there's some flooding that is also happening in the Cove and, for example, in Cummings Park. These are the kinds of stressors we would see in most cities around all of North America, and we will be addressing these and understanding how we might be able to mitigate these urban stressors. We've also been learning a bit more about other needs. For example, like all cities, the Parks Department is interested in looking at innovative and clever ways to find opportunities to raise additional funds for our capital and maintenance of the parks. What's also interesting is to see how the city is currently coordinating between different departments, for example, for maintaining street trees and for greenways. And also, it's already good to see that there are some corporate and personal donations that are quite ample for the city of Stamford, and that there are some non-for-profit partnership models that exist in the city of Stamford as well. But as many cities, it's nice to start to look at how we can integrate better nonprofit organizations into the Parks Department to address maintenance and operations, especially in the long term, as well as to look at how parks could become self-funded to relieve some of the pressures off of the Parks Department for other parks that don't have that potential. And also to look at ballots as a way for cultivating sort of community interest in fiscal policies related to the funding of parks. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Matt and the City of Stamford to talk a little bit about some case studies.
Thanks, Tricia. So as we start to look at different funding opportunities to support our park system, we're excited to learn from some of our fellow cities and how they've helped to support their parks through community and philanthropic contributions, advertisements, sponsorship revenues, and revising fiscal policy measures to increase what funds are available. And looking at some of our peer cities, we can understand what is replicable here and the capabilities on our own. James Lima Planning and Development, who has been a partner on our strategic plan process, has summarized 3 precedents for us on a comparable funding models that seek to leverage private funding to support our park system expenditures. The first case study is from New York City's Park Foundation. New York City's Park Foundation is a 501c3 organization that was established in 1989 and serves as an umbrella nonprofit that works with the city to act as a vehicle for managing a broad array of private and volunteer groups with varying capacities. They manage, organize world-class performances, venue rentals within the parks, develop youth and senior activity programs, manage environmental education programs, and organize local volunteer partnerships, connecting with corporate partners to the park system through a multi-level activation strategies. The organization currently has 275,000 program participants, 6,000 kids in fitness and sports activities, over 30,000 volunteers, and spans 333 parks throughout the city. The second case study research is leveraging corporate sponsorships and advertising revenue for facilities. Examples of these revenue sources include Involved Citizens Enterprise Incorporated in Traverse City, Michigan. The nonprofit organization manages 2 arenas, the Center Ice Arena and the Howe Arena. These rinks service the community through its public skating programs, hockey teams, hockey camps, figure skating, adult sport leagues, and ice rentals. In addition to its comprehensive programming, the link also provides a range of physical advertising within its ice rinks and public spaces. It is through the diverse advertising program that the arena complexes provide a combined annual advertising revenue potential of $309,000 and $650,000. Of that combined over $300,000, 270 is from the Central Ice Arena advertising and 38,000 from the Howe Arena advertising. The final case study reviewed the topic of implementing fiscal policy measures to raise funds for parks and facilities. This type of model has been used in Connecticut through both the 96.3 state park admissions tax and through the City of Hartford park parking tax. For example, Hartford, Connecticut's parking tax has estimated to provide the city $210,000 of annual revenue. Other examples include San Jose Park Impact Fee Program and the Philadelphia Beverage Tax. The San Jose Impact Fee requires new residential development projects to satisfy a parkland obligation, which is equivalent to dedicating 3 acres of land for public recreation use for every 1,000 new residents. The Philadelphia Beverage Tax is a tax charged on the distribution of sweetened beverages. This tax applies to 1 cent per ounce charge of the registered distributors of sweetened beverages. The strategic plan process will continue to review these case studies and new information presented by our consultants with a goal of completing the plan with recommendations for implementing new programs to better leverage private funding to support our park system. As we now move along in our strategic plan process, we are entering into the opportunity for increased community engagement. Engaging with the community and park stakeholders is a critical component to this strategic plan process. We've developed a community engagement survey, which is being distributed widely to solicit input from our park users and residents. Additionally, we've planned several public hearings to offer members of the public the opportunity to share their thoughts and suggestions for our city parks. We can share several of the dates for these public meetings, and I'll also note that our survey is on the City of Stamford's website. This past week on Friday, April 21st, we participated in several activities in celebration of Earth Day. We were at Cove Island Park for a walk, tree planting at Carwin Park, participating in a book giveaway at Droder Park, and a park cleanup at Chestnut Hill Park. That helped us to kick off this community engagement process. We now have 4 community sessions, which will serve as a public hearing for members of the community to come out and testify on any issues related to our park system, with the first beginning on Wednesday, May 10th, followed by the second session on May 17th. And then our third and fourth sessions will take place in June, with one being on June 8th and the final one on June 15th. We'll also be partnering with the Stamford ADA Advisory Council for presentation and conversation, as well as a thorough discussion with our Parks and Rec Commission, as well as the Parks and Recreation Committee of our Board of Representatives. So we do encourage everyone to take the survey. As I mentioned, it's on our website, and any additional updates and information related to our strategic plan process will be found on that landing page.
So for this process, we have developed a dynamic toolkit that we can utilize for ease of communication and to help us gather the most feedback and input from you all. So this includes a recorded video, which is what we are working on today. This is meant to be an easy way to present to you who we are, what we are doing, and where we are in the process. As mentioned, we have a survey that has been circulated. For smaller groups, potential or particular interest groups, there is the potential for interviews to be conducted. Later in the process, we could hold a presentation to share what we heard throughout the public outreach, how that will inform the strategic plan, and give an overview of the progress made. Then potentially a workshop for a more hands-on and interactive session to collect your thoughts and ideas. And finally, the outcome of this round of public outreach would be a summary report to consolidate all the information that was shared, the feedback that was given, and the outcomes of this process. Now, we see this as a cyclical process that, if needed, can be repeated and go into different rounds as we inform the strategic plan with the information we gain from your feedback. And with that, I'll hand it off to Mary Simmons to close it off.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. We are so excited to embark on this strategic plan. My administration is committed to improving our parks so that they may better serve our residents, and so that we can ensure all residents have access to a high quality park within a 10-minute walk of where you live. We encourage you to take the community engagement survey, as well as attend our upcoming public hearings, so you can help us make Stamford a more vibrant and equitable city. Please visit our website, stanfordct.gov, for more information. And again, thank you so much for participating today.